What's up you guys, my name is Mac, this is Cherry Bomb, and today we're going to be installing the RCI rear diff skid. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, for the install you're not going to need a lot. Obviously it's a pretty easy install. You're obviously going to need the skid, and you're going to need these two, I call them the horseshoes. They go on the left and right side to grab onto the axle. And you're going to need the collar that goes on the front or the back, depending on how you look at it, that grabs around the differential as well. Obviously you're going to need your hardware, and keep in mind that this is a used skid that I bought, so hardware looks a little bit aged, and that's part of the process. And then you're going to need just two bits for your socket set, a 13 and a 14, and I would have two of each or some of the ratcheting ones, so that way you can easily tighten it by yourself. Alright guys, we are underneath the truck. One thing that I'm going to highly recommend is that you take out your spare tire. I'm actually able to sit underneath with having the spare tire out of the way. And so now we're just going to get underneath the differential and put this on our belly, and then we're going to install the skid. Alright guys, we're underneath the truck. We've got the skid kind of in place. One thing that I'm going to highly recommend is to have your spare tire removed. That way you can get underneath here. I'm actually able to sit, as you can see, to have lots of room. And then what I've got is I've got my left foot underneath my right leg, kind of like I'm half crisscross, and this is giving me to where I can push up on my knee to do this. If you're not comfortable with this, you feel uncomfortable, you rather do something else, you can use the bottle jack that is included with your truck and use that to help lift this up in place. But what we're going to do is we're going to start the install. So take one of your horseshoes, and keep in mind here that you want the RCI logo in the back, and you want that extra plate to be able to fit on the front. So the two screw holes, the extra holes, are on the front, and the RCI logo goes towards the back of the truck. So right here, with like most skids installs, we're not going to tighten everything up right here. We're simply going to get things threaded so that way it can stay in place, but we're not going to be doing anything crazy here. This is because this skid does require a good amount of lining up, and so we're not going to do anything crazy yet because we don't want to tighten it down if we have to shift it around a little bit. And so simply just do the skid, the horseshoe, the washer, and the nut. Once you get one side on, it'll help to relieve the pressure, and you can go to the other side. So like I said, don't tighten everything crazy down. Make sure it's still loose, able to move around. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to line up with this seam here, and there's another seam right there. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go on our back now and work on installing the front plate and that collar. Alright, we're ready to put this together. So how it's going to be is it's going to be bolt, washer, the top of the collar, another washer, the locking washer, and then the threaded locking nut. Should look something like that. And now we're going to slip it on, and then now we can secure it in place. Doing that same order is going to be bolt with the washer on it, going through, then washer, locking washer, nut. Alright, now that that's on there, we can get it all snugged up and get it locked in place. Alright, so once this top collar is tight, even if you have it tight, it's still going to be loose, and that's because we have to keep it, well, it's going to be loose because we have to put this on here. So for that, you're going to take your remaining bolts and put it through, and it will be bolt, collar, rear diff skid, washer, and then nut. And the same thing on the other side. And this next part is really just going to be called the fiddle. This is really just where you're going to kind of move things around to center it where you want. The main goal is that you want to make sure that it's centered on the drain hole down here, and that the back logo is centered on the axle and or on the diff, same thing. And so once you feel that everything is mostly centered, go around and start tightening it up. So you've got two on each horseshoe on the end, and you've got two right here. So I'm going to do that now. guys, there you go. That is the skid plate installed. This is the final skid plate for me, so I'm very excited that I now have everything protected. I have the 3-piece in the front for the engine, transfer case, and transmission. I have the lower control arms, I have the gas tank skid, and now I have the rear diff skid. 3 different brands, RCI, CBI, and Icon. But hey, it's all done. I always recommend buying used, so do that to your fullest ability. Facebook Marketplace, if it's available where you're at, is going to be your best friend for secondhand Tacoma parts. But anyway, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've got tons of other install videos available and everything for all these skids as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Fighting. This fighting won't